Welcome into DC On Screen. I'm your host, David C. Robertson, and this is my co-host, Jason.
Lou.
Alright, guys, so we are about to get all super spoilery on Supergirl 107, Human for a Day. Man, what did you think of this episode? I had a lot of fun with it.
Really enjoyed the hell out of it, yeah. Obviously, we're going to proceed to make fun of a few things, but short of that, we'll sandwich it with I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and speaking of making
that's our
fun
sickness, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we make fun of ourselves. We
right.
Was it me, or did this episode start out with a lot more exposition than needed? Why the hell did we need a previously on?
I'm not sure. I think they could have gotten away with that entirely. Especially during the episode, that the only thing that was previously on that worthy was she's down to her powers, but they explained that in the first 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a trust issue with Carol and not Carol. But there's a trust issue with the sister and Hank, and they
Alex, yeah,
and they get to that really quickly. Done that 3 times this week. I've been reading a Miss Marvel thing.
No.
Forgive me.
Stop reading Miss Marvel. We're talking about Supergirl.
Hey, you get around. You get around.
You get around. That's. Oh.
I'm a little slutty.
So,
They could have gotten away with that, not having that, though, yeah. Because they gave you everything they needed to going into each scene, which makes it actually a pretty... One or the other makes it a really good TV show.
Right.
You only need the one, though.
I believe there was a quote, and I think it was from Kara. She said, quote, "Stupid red tornado."
Right? Yeah.
My note says that, and indeed.
Yeah. Now, they went ahead and pulled out, I think this would be the first time anyone's done the live-action retelling, even, of Super Flare.
Mm-hmm. That is the first time, yeah.
They got to it. And it doesn't look anything like it does in the books, because in the Flare, it's like a giant nuclear explosion with kind of soups right at the center. With her, I guess she can just do her eye thingy so hard that it blows her out.
Yeah, and she kind of, she's smaller than he is, and at this point, younger than he is, in a way. So, I'm just kind of guessing that maybe it'll get bigger.
I was thinking of it as a muscle you have to flex.
Well, yeah, maybe so.
And Lord called it the photovoltaic capacity, which I love it when people rip out those kind of words.
Mm-hmm.
That works for me though. Just kind of a muscle you have to flex a lot. She's just started working it out.
Yeah, I love that. I love that James talks about how much he likes to name them, and she goes, he's such a nerd.
I know.
I really enjoyed that. That was really good.
They both have that, Superman, what a dork kind of moment.
Oh, but I'm disappointed in the writers, though.
Why?
Because they had that gratuitous James Olsen tank top scene.
That one made me laugh, though. He's like, here, take my shirt. I'll just strap on my leather bag and walk into work anyway.
Right? Thanks,
what up,
James
team?
Kirk.
I'd like you to meet Lefty and Righty.
Right. I can understand Jimmy being called James, but don't change Olsen to Kirk.
Yeah. Who wants to play the bongos on my pecs?
Oh, man. But I was really excited to see the Darkness of Winn come out, man. He's going over to the dark side.
Yeah. And me and you went back and forth on how to take that one scene.
Yeah, we do.
Because I'm leaning towards your take. I initially took it as Winn walks in, sees them having kind of a close moment. It's bordering on an intimate moment. They notice that he's noticing their shared intimacy for the second, and then they get uncomfortable, and then they kind of have this knowing look between them, you should probably go take care of this car. Okay.
Yeah.
I read it as they suddenly kind of knew that he had some feelings that were being displaced, and she goes off to talk to him about it for a second, which seemed weird. So even then, the first line still matches, though, where he turns around and says, he has a boyfriend anyway. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
He has a girlfriend anyway. That'd be a whole different James.
Right.
That one to me, I was happy to take it like that. I think I'm leaning towards your take, though.
Yeah, my take is pretty much that she knows that he has feelings, but she just kind of is ignoring it. She knows even if she doesn't know, she's just completely ignoring that, because then she'll have to deal with it. That'll make it real if she acknowledges it.
Right.
But
it's deliberate optimism, that kind of myopic sensibilities they have.
Yeah, which makes sense with her character. And
yeah, it actually does.
with Jimmy, it's just like, why would he even say anything? He's got a girlfriend, and also they're just friends. And Winn was around before he even got there, so if she hasn't started up that yet, that's none of his business. They're friends, whatever.
Yeah, with my take for a second, I was wondering, like, all right, come on, show. Why did they suddenly know that Winn has unrequited feelings? And your take gets that out of the equation, at least.
It just looked like they felt like that he caught them in something, and with Jimmy having a girlfriend, that probably wouldn't be the best thing.
Right. And the thing that really burns is the line after the girlfriend bit, right?
Right. It's like he does the thing where like he says you have the girlfriend, which is the logical thing and the right concern to have, but for the wrong reason. Mm-hmm. But that's sort of masking it. How'd you put it? Is masking his true anger?
Yeah, something like that.
And then
some psychobabble bullshit that's probably vaguely accurate.
Yeah, and then he actually does go back. He goes into his real issue a little bit by just being a dick to Kara. He's like, "You're never going to be normal. You're never going to have a normal life."
Right.
And he does it with this like viciousness that, quite frankly, I was impressed by the kid. I was like, "Oh, you're going to be a fun toy man one day."
Right. Yeah. And it wasn't like Kat was helping, just calling him wit the whole episode. This is how you make bad people. You put them in an office environment like this where no one respects their feelings, no one thinks of them as having any agency of themselves, and in some cases, they can literally walk past this person hundreds of times without ever learning their name.
Oh, I meant to mention this a little while ago, but this actually kind of fits in. Our buddy Scott Madison over at the Simply Syndicated podcast sent us this beautiful thing. He says, after being called out during your review of Supergirl's How Does She Do It episode, I felt compelled to accept your challenge. Do I support or oppose your opinion of Jimmy, not this James bullshit, Olsen, and Lucy Lane, heretofore referred to as Juicy? As it turns out, I do neither. I offer another option. In the case of the audience versus Juicy, the verdict is, no one gives a damn. I don't care. Yes, Lucy is a capable and intelligent woman with wonderful eyes. Oh, okay. We got a little personal there, Scott. Sure, Jimmy has a fancy toy watch, but every moment of time, screen time devoted to the relationship is another moment not spent on developing our title character and furthering the plot of the episode and the season as a whole. Besides that, the longer Jimmy monopolizes Kara's unrequited romantic affections, the more Winn will resent and envy Jimmy. Considering how clearly we as the audience are supposed to side with Winn and his sad puppy heart as he wallows in the friend zone, Kara is so terrified to be in with Jimmy. The writers are risking turning the audience against Jimmy altogether for standing in the way of Winn and Kara. Of course, I have a hard time caring about Kara and Quinn, as well, because at that point, Winn could drop to one knee and propose to Kara in Cat Grant's office while Superman flies by the window with a banner reading, "Even Solomon Grundy can tell he loves you," and it would still not be the most obvious sign that Kara has missed from Winn. That level of obliviousness is not only fairly off-putting, but in today's television climate, is tired, predictable, and frankly too unrealistic to be accepted. Yes, I know I'm talking about a show where an autonomous red android creates a self-sustaining cyclone with his hands, but I have an easier time believing that than I do believing that Kara wouldn't see that Winn was hopelessly in love with her before she even became Supergirl. Guggenheim and Berlanti have the same problem in Arrow and Flash as well. Interpersonal relationships, romantic ones especially, are the most awkward components of all these shows. The drama is there, the suspense is there, the action is there, the love stories, they fall pretty flat. Maybe not always as flat as Laurel Lance trying to emote, but pretty close.
Yeah, that's kind of the bottom floor.
Right? But yeah, I think Kara is openly, or not openly, but actively dismissing Winn's feelings because she doesn't have the components there to deal with those feelings. Like, she doesn't want to be with Winn.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to lose a friend either.
Yeah, so she's just hoping if she shuffles it all under the table, it'll go away eventually.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's not James's place to do anything with that. I mean, yeah,
I don't disagree with the idea. It's just that's a little bit of headcanon, and we're 7 episodes in, and there should have already been a moment explaining that was the case.
I agree, but these romantic moments or these romantic relationships, they never do that. They never do. They make you headcanon for a long time.
I mean, she just has to have one moment where her sister asks her, have you not noticed anything about Winn looking at you? And she kind of says, I have, not dealing with that. Done. What'd that take? 3 seconds of screen time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't you it doesn't have to have a big lead up, a big lead out, drop it in the middle of the episode like nothing happened in the middle of a conversation about Red Tornado.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, our buddy Scott Madison, he's on simplysyndicated.com. He's on the Simply Syndicated Movie News, actually. So, guys, go check him out. But yeah, so what was your favorite bit of this episode, though? Because I think mine is her talking the guy down with the gun.
Oh, yeah. Now, that was so far my favorite bit in the series. And that tops, like last week, my favorite bit in the series was I guess now I'm calling it the solar flare moment. Mm-hmm. Which was just so well shot, well scored. She looked phenomenally scary in that. Like, there's no way I want to be on the other side of that, whatever anger that was. Mm-hmm. Just downright powerful. And then you get to this episode, she's absolutely powerless, and it's her optimism. That's all required. I mean, like by the time she's through talking with Cat Grant interlacing her with like this extra bit of subtext, and by the time Kara's through talking to that guy, like I was ready to like put her on a fucking poster and go change the world. Absolutely. I would put like one of those little office things, with like optimism under it, or
they're called motivational posters.
Those are those things. I don't have any of those, so foreign idea. But yeah, I was ready to go like fucking lift a Red Cross building on my back when she was done talking.
Right?
I don't know how that would help the Red Cross, but I could do it.
Yeah, the only thing that I was really surprisingly dismayed by was like how shitty that James Olsen photography was. Like when I actually looked at it, I was like, that's kind of a terrible.
Yeah, I kind of froze it and looked. Like, this is a little wooden. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not his fault. It's not like he could ask him like, hey, could y'all just scoot to if you could just angle a little bit over here? I just need about 20 degrees from you. 20 degrees.
But I mean, James has apparently.
He might have grabbed the gun back and shot the photographer at that point just for bugging him.
Oh, we're talking about a guy who has, throughout the series so far, gotten shots of Supergirl flying that look like they were done in a studio.
Right.
So, we can stretch this part a little bit. My suspension of disbelief will stretch a little further.
Would have handled a little bit of angle play there.
Yeah, like, could you zoom, Jimmy?
Could have gotten a better shot, wouldn't have. I know technically he wasn't standing exactly right there, but it's just such a pretty picture.
Yeah. I mean, you get the rule of thirds down, kind of, but really, Jimmy? No, I'm not calling you James this time. Really, Jimmy?
No, this was a Jimmy move, not a James move.
This was a Jimmy moment.
You will earn James.
I know it's a conceit of the show, but I'm just, man, it's so hard. It's so hard to buy that Maxwell Lord just doesn't see Supergirl.
I know.
He looks at Kara. Or anyone. Like Cat Grant and Maxwell Lord, two of the smartest people that I've ever...
Those are some sharp fucking I like...
ever been on TV.
Lord even says, like, did med school in a year. Just off the cuff. No big deal.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Dude, he completely has both Kara's and Supergirl's number. He just doesn't realize that it's the same number he's holding.
Oh, man.
I liked that scene a lot, too. Lord trying to save the older guy's life, and it was like, it's the Pa Kent moment for me. Like, she is completely powerless. She has to sit there and watch a man die, and she can't do a damn thing.
Yeah, that was rough.
It was, but that was the lesson Superman needed, right?
Yeah.
Back when it was actually written well, and there was no tornadoes involved.
This is going to be kind of a theme that ran throughout the all of the episodes this week. I feel like Joe gave everyone a little bit of his eye moisture. Like everyone had it.
Yeah.
Who needed it? Like it was.
I mean, shit. I had it watching her like take the fucking gun out of that guy's hand. Like, yes, we can be better people. Thank you so much, Supergirl. I'm gonna change my life now.
He was like a strange, moist-eyed Santa.
Emotional Krampus.
Yeah. Crying Krampus.
Right.
God, such a... Okay.
Jimmy, at this point, Jimmy's starting to be the relatable audience voice for me. Like, he's sitting there trying to talk her out of going on that little mission with no freaking powers. He's starting to be the one I can I can really trust to like say what the audience should be thinking right now.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job with it. Really is.
Yeah, he is. Oh man, the scene where he was talking about the last picture of his dad.
Oh yeah,
the first picture he ever took.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he did a really good job of you could tell, he wanted to get like you could tell he could get down emotional alley right then, but he pulls it back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it in a way that like the way he got emotional didn't seem sappy, and then the way he pulled it back didn't seem like overly macho. It just seemed like he was just changing gears a little bit. Nothing to it. It was really subtle, really well done. It
really was.
Because it's easy to like come out of that and it be too macho and too stupid, and suddenly the moment's changed.
Yeah, I mean, I would have slow clapped, but Joe does exist, so I kind of don't have time for everyone.
Right. There's other things on her plate with equally eye-welling performances. It's hard. It's an emotional. It was actually a pretty emotional like week of TV watching.
It was. So should we get to the big thing?
I finally lost it on the page. I finally found my my note for when Winn gets all angry. It was Winn, damn, twist that knife.
Hashtag winning.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So the thing that well, congratulations, Internet.
Yeah. Congratulations, Internet.
And I think he looks good too.
He does look really good. If you guys are just blanking and having forgotten what we're talking about, I've done that. Like, listen to podcasts. I'm like, what are they talking about? Just what are they talking about? I don't remember this. I don't see how you could forget. But Hank Henshaw is Martian Manhunter.
Big old giant reveal at the bottom.
And by the way, check the tape. We called how he became Martian Manhunter. We did.
Point for point.
Week. Yeah.
Go us.
Check the tape.
I really like that. I like that he's going to tell Danvers, hey, this has got to be a secret even from your sister. I don't. The thing is, I would be annoyed by the secrecy because I honestly, the Berlanti and Co. team has just sworn me off of secrecy at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer abide by it, but I'm willing to put up with here just because I don't know what he's got planned. I don't know what Jones has going on, but I'm okay. I'm okay with that being a small thing for a second.
How many surprise birthday parties have you ruined in the name of Berlanti?
Oh God, I don't think I have a number for that.
But you don't understand. It's a surprise birthday party. I shall abide no secrets.
Right. It hasn't. Well, I would say that. I try not to keep a lot of secrets in my personal life, so it kind of hasn't changed me much. It's mostly that I was willing to accept secrets in like my fictional life, and by the time Oliver and Quentin were done with me, I'm fucking done with that shit. Like, there's no room. Life is too short.
Your wife is pregnant. I wanted to tell him over a nice dinner.
Right.
I do not abide lying to protect someone. What?
Doctor's telling me, like, I wanted to tell him later. I don't know. Dude, he showed me a picture of Stephen Amell and said, do you know what I'm talking about? And I was like, yes, I've seen that show too. Absolutely. You are having a child. Oh, okay. Use it as like my little quickie index card.
Oh, man.
Would Amell lie to you? Would Amell? No, I didn't think so. Now, tell me the results, doctor.
No, Amell would tell you the truth, and then the video would get taken down in like 25 minutes.
Or they'd make a liar out of him by making him do something he swore never to do.
Yeah.
That's forgivable.
I kind of want to hug him.
I know. Plus, he totally owned being called out on that. The goatee thing, by the way, if anyone doesn't know.
Yeah. So, yeah, Martian Manhunter. Oh, man.
Looks terrific. And he's got, so far in this show, a pretty damn good backstory. I liked his, I like where they've got him coming from.
I think I can't remember which showrunner it is. They're Hive Mind, as we've mentioned. Mm-hmm. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But they actually did say that Supergirl is going to become a Martian Manhunter series within a Supergirl series.
Sounds great. I mean,
yay.
Yeah, at this point, all I can see is I just now I want everyone on this team as long as possible because come on. I mean, don't you want to live in a world where Supergirl and like Martian Manhunter are fighting crime together?
Absolutely. Screw the big Boy Scout.
Let's
do this.
Yeah.
Let's do this. And also, I think we've got some more money coming in for Supergirl, so some of those effects can get a little better.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Oreo endorsement deal?
Nice. More nighttime scenes. Just throwing that out there.
Right.
Cost a whole hell of a lot less.
Right.
Not to shoot, obviously, to shoot it costs more. But in post, it's so much easier. Man, I really was. I was happy with him. I like how he reveals it. God, he looks good, too.
He really does. He looks a lot better than Jemm.
Yeah, Jemm looks terrible, by the way. But that's what I was about to bring up. But, the big bad for this episode was a fucking faceless hunter. That was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think they got it in there and said, okay, he looks awful. What can we do? Well, we can have him running around in the dark, and just flashes of his face.
It does look like they pulled like one of the bad prototypes for Quark off Deep Space Nine, and we found this mask in the back. What can we do with it? I know.
It's the same company, CBS. Yeah. I was thinking it looked like a Klingon with the Jemm in his head.
Whichever one happened first.
I kept calling him Jemm in the holocron.
So we agreed. We agreed that at some point they found a leftover Star Trek costume and made the best out of it.
I think
they went to Jeff Johns and said, "Who does this remind you of?" Kind of reminds me of a faceless hunter. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah. Do we need to do anything to improve upon it? You need to nail like a diamond-shaped shiny thing into right in the middle of the forehead. Thank you, Jeff. Talk to you later.
Yeah, I think I saw that earlier on a screen or something, and I thought it was Despero.
Yeah, I was really hoping it was Despero. Before they said his name, I was.
Because again, that doesn't look like Jemm. Like Jemm looks more like a Martian Manhunter. He just does in the comics. It looks like a red Martian Manhunter.
A faceless hunter, though, was a really good. It was a really good way to introduce Martian Manhunter. Like, this is the kind of guy that he can take single-handedly.
Oh yeah.
Like you've described to me several of the powers he has already. We don't have to go through the exposition of being able to. And I wonder how many of the powers he's really going to have. Because if it's true MM, man, we've got like everything. I mean, he's Superman with extra toys.
Yep.
Talking about a guy that's strong enough that they could probably have to call it a draw on an arm wrestling match. And if he wanted to, he could just phase through the table. Whatever. I'll be over here now.
It is surprising to me that Martian Manhunter hasn't been utilized more frequently. I know he's not as well known, but he's got pretty much all of Superman's powers plus shape-shifting. Mm-hmm. But his weakness is way more accessible. Fire.
Yeah.
So like we don't have to worry about like a terrible kryptonite conceit. Like you have a fireplace, you have a weakness.
Well, I mean, you've got like, and on top you've got mind control, like extreme telepathic powers. You've got phasing, and you've got shape-shifting. Like any one of those three things are a character all by themselves. He has all three of those, plus pretty much a lot of what Superman can do, as far as the brute strength is concerned. And flying. Let's not forget flying.
Yeah, plus, I mean, he's got the telepathy, and, you could actually have him dealing with the moral quandary of whether or not he should, like, maybe he, kind of is interested in someone and trying to figure out whether they like him or not, or, him not using those powers. That could be a moral quandary that goes throughout the entire series. Right. And it could be darker. It could be darker just like Batman, because he's a detective.
Right.
Why is Martian Manhunter not a show?
I don't know.
Why is Martian Manhunter not?
Wishing it was for a very long time, like especially when I forget who was it that came out and said, oh, by the way, the point of listing all those was that you can offset all of those powers with a fucking big lighter. So it's not like you don't. The character has play. It's not like he's one of those that's so powerful. How are we going to do anything with him? Now, granted, you don't want to have the end of every episode be, and then he saw a fire. Like,
right.
The episode was going really well. He was about to take him down. Turned the corner. Hobo had a trash can of fire going. Episode over.
Yeah. He's tracking down a guy, and it turns out the guy is a smoker.
Right. Kept him at bay.
Well, even John Jones is going, this looks like a job for Superman.
Right. You can imagine a guy with a cigarette in his mouth. He comes around. You're here to arrest me? Yeah. Just lights another cigarette. You can't come near me when I'm smoking, can you? Nope.
Yeah.
John's just telling him like, nope, I'm afraid of fire, but you've only got 10 more cigarettes.
Right.
Keep smoking, buddy.
He comes out of the shadows and the guy lights a cigarette and John suddenly just goes, oh! What was that? Nothing.
This would quickly be a bad show when we were done with it.
Nothing.
You see how powerful he is. He tracks down, like he grabs a spaceship out of the air and throws into the fucking space and like phases through a portion of the Earth to get to another another like disaster several hundred miles away, even quicker than you could if you did the whole angled flying thing. Bursts out of the ground, like picks a tank up and fucking crumples it in his hand, and then he turns around and there's like a militant soldier just like lighting a cigarette. He just crumples under the weight of the tank and cries a little.
I think we've just described why it would be a terrible show, why no one has done it, and also why
there
I
are
really
better
want to see
people
it,
than us that can make this work,
and why I want to see it too.
Mm-hmm.
That's well, and all these shows are explosions and people on fire and cars on fire and everything. Yeah, they can't have any of that stuff because, well, a Martian Manhunter would not last very long.
he walks up to somebody that's like, he walks up to a kidnapping. He like phases through the wall and surprises the guys. Don't shoot. And then he starts doing his like the guy gets real nervous and kind of starts to pull out a cigarette real quick, and he goes all telepathy on him. Don't smoke that cigarette. The guy actually responds like, "What, are you worried about my health or something?" No, they're really scary. Is that a Zippo you have? My God, man. Why?
You know what the funniest part of this, I suddenly realize? A guy played him on Smallville.
Mm-hmm.
And the actor who played him's name was Philip Morris.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fucking awesome.
Oh.
Man, life is just all good by itself sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Not one tweak required. Who was he said him and he said if I tell you it'll just be you and one other person that knows the truth. Who's the other person?
Oh, we don't know yet.
Like, I would love for that to be Soups in a way, but I kind of wouldn't, because it'd be nice to see them all team up and get all Justice League-y, but then that means that we'll be back to dealing with the question of like, well, why doesn't Superman pop over and help every now and then? Nah, I mean, I suppose I'd really much rather it be like that he actually has somebody around that was maybe like his family's gone in whatever capacity. Maybe he tried to start another one here, so there's one like lost romance somewhere where there's somebody that actually knows everything about him.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of those tragic romances. It's never quite going to work, but she'd never try to hurt him anyway. It's just not like that with him. I don't know who it could be though. Seems like if it was anybody in the super science kind of realm, then the DEO would know and he wouldn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I couldn't pull anything out.
Let me put it this way. I don't think
memory.
we've been introduced to anyone on the show yet that I think is that one person. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I don't think we've been introduced on the show, but I was thinking, like, who could it be on, well, I was just wondering if there was, like, an actual character from the comics who he trusted with his secret identity.
I don't know if there is. I tell you, though, I always wanted him to hook up with Renee Montoya as the Question. I just thought they'd be a just dastardly detective team.
You mean hook up, like, professionally, right?
Either way. I mean, I thought they would have made an okay romance if, she swung that way. But
well, I mean, I suppose he could be female.
That's actually true. He's a shapeshifter. This wouldn't be a problem for him.
Yeah.
For them, for sure.
That would be interesting, and that's something that they did in, I mean, I'm sorry, I know this is blasphemy, but Marvel's Runaways. They did, like, a Supergirl who just was in love with the character, and she was a lesbian, so he just changed into a woman.
Well, I can do that too. I mean, it's a very fine line biologically for a minute there.
By the way, there's a comic book cover of Martian Manhunter sitting on a throne of Oreos.
That sounds fucking great.
And holding a glass of milk and smiling. And Booster Gold and Blue Beetle are buried underneath the Oreos.
I'm not sure what he's up to there, but if I were sitting with a glass of milk on top of a throne of Oreos, I sure as hell would be smiling too. Mm-hmm. He's going to be a lot of fun, because no matter what you do with this character at this point, there's so much play to it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, as we've discussed, you need to address the whole fire thing. You need to figure out a way to make that work. Or if you just want to take that away from the character and make that not, I would be okay with taking that away as a weakness. Maybe that, like, when it's a conflagration, I mean, when he sees a forest fire, yeah, he gets scared because it reminds him of, his burning Earth, or his burning Mars. But but having it scale down to, like, somebody lighting a cigarette being not even on his radar, it has to be a fire. That'd work for me.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
And
I'm all for,
just another cute moment at the end of the episode. Like, Kat's getting on to Supergirl for not being there. And Supergirl kind of, she gives her one of those, like, they didn't need me today. They needed you kind of moments. And just for a moment, Kat's, like, speechless, and she just smiles a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it's a very, like, childlike smile. Just, I made Supergirl happy. For just a second, you can feel that's all she actually cared about for a second. It was so cute. I enjoyed it. Yeah, she's a hard ass, but come on, who doesn't want to be a hero? Who doesn't want a little bit of approval every now and then?
Well, yeah. I mean, hey, queen of all media still, digs it when Supergirl gives her the thumbs up,
Right.
Of course.
It's a hell of an accolade. Supergirl pops up to you and is like, good job. I'm retiring from life at that point. King and country served. Done.
Now, just a couple more things I actually wanted to talk about, but what did you think of, why... Martian Manhunter said that he didn't want Alex to tell anyone, including Kara. Why?
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, I don't really care yet why. I'm willing to give him a little bit of rope just to see what he's doing with that. I mean, if it ends up being a secret for secret's sake, just please don't tell anybody. I don't know what I'm doing here. That's one thing. But if they give me a reason, and they will, I think they will, because I think Alex will kind of call him on this soon. Probably in some kind of moment where she could really use another hand from... someone with a few powers.
Yeah, and I would say it's a stretch to say he doesn't know what he's doing, because he's been doing this job for 15 years now, something. Yeah. He's been doing it for kind of a long time.
You know what I'd really love though, and if you want to keep the show moving the way it's moving, to get Supergirl and Martian Manhunter in the same room, it really should be something where Jones or Hank or whatever he's being that day. Kind of goes out to fight something by himself, gets in way over his head, and then Alex has to call her sister and say, we need to talk. I have a friend that needs help, and I need you to not ask any questions for a minute.
Yeah.
Let her go save the day, man.
Yeah. Now, did you see the promo for next week?
I did, and my exact note was, oh, there's the plot we forgot.
Right.
Been a minute, fellas.
Yeah. Now,
a minute.
Yeah, tomorrow, sorry, not tomorrow. Next week, or the next episode is the fall finale, is the winter finale, or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
So.
I'm almost sure I've misled people on that.
How so?
It seemed like if I said it, I don't remember, but I was thinking this was going to be the fall finale, because I'd looked at a couple.
They didn't have another one listed.
Yeah, I looked at several air date sources, and nothing was listed, so I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, so if we misled you, we didn't. CBS just wasn't good. I'm sorry.
I did my best. There was new information.
Do you have anything else for Supergirl 107, Human for a Day?
Only that, man, I really wouldn't want to mess with Alex in a just one-on-one fight. Her one-man assault on fucking Jemm was badass.
Yeah, I actually have that written down. Alex is a badass.
That was a SWAT team rolled into one girl.
Yeah.
I was very impressed.
She was really good. She was good.
She's turning out to be a really fun character, just because apparently she's extraordinarily smart and has that kind of training. Hell yeah, man. Let's keep her.
Fingers crossed. Laurel's in the grave. Alex comes over to Arrow and becomes Black Canary.
That would absolutely make me happy, yeah.
Yeah. All right, I think it's going to do it for this episode. We are DC On Screen. We are a proud member of the Giant Size Team Up Network, and you can find every episode on DCOnScreen.com. You can also find us on iTunes and Stitcher. And, man, if you want to help us out and help us rank and everything, and it's important for shows like us. So go give us some 5-star reviews in iTunes. It really would help us. And we're going to be coming up with another episode here in just a few seconds. Probably the next day for you guys, but yeah.
And we got another Supergirl next week, apparently.
And another Supergirl next week. But this week, we're going to be talking about the fall finales of The Flash and Arrow.
So. That are definitely finales, because CW didn't fuck us around.
Right. They have their shit together over the CW, folks.
Right.
All right. Until then, keep some DC on your screen.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.